sexy.
Kindness is sexy.
KIS. Kindness is sexy.
Kindness is sexy.
Hi, it's Mary Ellen O'Neill Madeley with KIS, Kindness is Sexy. And today I am with my awesome friend, Leeann Pendleton of Viewpoint, RogersTV in Barrie and Simcoe County.
Thanks, Mary Ellen.
I was hoping that we could talk today about your show. I've been on your show more than once, and I love the fact that you bring to the viewers something that people may never know about. So these small, what they would call small charities or issues that people don't realize are even in our community. And I thought maybe you might take a couple of minutes to talk about why you do the show and how important it is for people to actually watch and see what's going on in the community that they have no idea.
I love doing the show. I love my producer, my co-host Ron. I think it's important to have community TV because, you know, especially in our world today, things are very global. And we have lost that kind of sense of community and
Absolutely.
the local TV and the little stories. You know, most of our local papers have gone under. So giving our local charities a voice, giving local people a voice is so important, and I love Rogers for that. And I love my show for that.
Me too.
Well. So we have so many great people on. Like, it's hard to narrow down to say, you know, this is the best. But I think that there's, you know, there's always like a common denominator, and you really see that prejudice and poverty, you know, just general misconceptions about certain sects of people, socioeconomic. That really leads to a lot of issues in our communities. And I think it's a common thread, and of course money is the common thread too.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I found, especially watching your show, it's one thing when I'm on the show, I know what we're talking about. I know how important it is. You know, with me, it's going to always be about homelessness and the fact that there are so many youth out there that don't have a place to be because people just think, oh, well, they're lazy or they're this or they're that. They grew up in a situation that's not like ours, and they grew up in a situation where they weren't taught how to get along with people or how to trust people, and that's so huge. Yeah. And your show brings about other issues that I had no idea. I did not know until I worked for the youth shelter, the opioid crisis. And there are other issues that you bring up, and I think, wow, how did that happen? How did we get there?
You're not the only one. Like, sometimes, well, a lot of the time I'm surprised on the show. Especially, I think there's a polarization and a disconnect. If you don't see it, you don't know what's happening.
I agree.
And so many times I've been surprised and been like, I didn't know that was an issue. Like the human trafficking in our own Simcoe County. That things like that. And I think that one thing, I think a message that's good for all of us is not to separate ourselves into little groups. I don't think it's good for anyone. I don't think it's good for unity. And it also doesn't let you share other people's experiences.
Exactly. And the thing I find is if you take the time to do something for someone, if as simple as you see someone on the street and instead of walking past and dropping a coin in, which really isn't exactly what they're looking for, maybe take the time to say hi or to ask how they're doing or to bring something to them, something that's a little different, because everybody's always saying, oh, well, you know, I don't want to donate because they could be lying about what they're doing.
And who, honestly, really, like, you know what, I get it. If you can't afford to give $2 or something, fine. But if you're not giving like $2 to someone because you think they might go have a drink with it, or do drugs or whatever, I think it's pretty silly. I always try to, you know, give something, and you know what, you're right. Like, just saying, like, I met a man at Costco, and he was having, well, in the parking lot, and he was having a really hard time. He was telling me, and it could have been a story. Yeah. I don't know, but he seemed genuine, and so I gave him some change. You know, and
what's it gonna hurt?
And I talked to him too, and he was actually a really nice guy. And I just think that stigma, you know, there are definitely, how can we not think there are actually people out there in need?
Exactly. And I got to tell the story about when I met you.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm in Rogers, and I see this beautiful blonde walk by, and my first thought was, another blonde. Na, 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 na.
Well, I also
And-
have resting bee face.
No, but it wasn't that. You walked past me and then you immediately came back and said, "Hi, my name's Leeann, and who are you?" And I thought, "Aw, she's so sweet." She took the time to come back and find out
Yeah.
who I was just because I was sitting at a desk.
Well, and people would tell us that we looked alike too, that we could be sisters, and I think that's true.
I love that.
Yeah,
That
to a
was
certain
awesome.
extent, yeah, for sure.
We've done events together,
Yep.
my events, and you've come to MC for
Yep.
them and things like that. And I love when people say that. I'm like, yeah.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Being compared to you is definitely a good thing.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's so sweet.
Well, you're always so nice.
Now
yeah.
she's being nice again.
You know.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I remember that day and I'll never forget it. And I'll never forget that you actually eased my whole day because I happened to be there. I was just helping Deanne for a couple of minutes on something and I was just sitting at a desk and you just came over and you made, it's one of the reasons that I kept helping out with Rogers.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
awesome.
think you actually know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you were so great, like you know, from the very beginning, like all bubbly and everything, and I was thrilled.
Aw.
Yeah, thrilled. And then you came to work on our show.
Yes, I love doing those.
Yeah.
All the shows that Rogers has. I missed the daytime show because that was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and it was something that did the same thing with community. It brought forward what's going on, things like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's the main reason why I really like your shows. It's bringing forward the things that we need to talk about and how we need to remember to be good to other people no matter what's going on in our own lives. I'll give you an example. Last night, I was having a really hard night. And I don't know whether it's just the struggles that are happening right now and worries that I have, but I thought I need to go for a walk. So I called a couple of friends. They weren't available. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go myself. And sure enough, I go out and exactly what was meant to happen for me, what I needed happened. There was a man, I'm not exaggerating, sitting in the middle of the road in a wheelchair staring at the forest. And it's this beautiful area. This place is, I walk to this area all the time and it's
Yeah.
beautiful. And he was
How
just
busy
staring.
is the road?
It's busy enough but we're in a country, like in the country,
Yeah.
so they go around him, which is really nice. But I was trying to get him off the road because I was worried. And I thought, when I went up to talk to him, we ended up finishing the walk together. And he wouldn't let me push him. He was adamant that he had to, push himself. He said it's good exercise. But he kept talking about how, he worked all his life and he ended up getting cancer and that's what took the use of his legs. And, he is upset about it. It is hurting. But he did say that, I've got to find the positive and I've got to remember that there are people worse off than me. And then he rhymed off people who are worse off. And I'm thinking, see, that's what I needed. I needed to stop feeling sorry for myself, stop feeling anxious and upset, and just get out there and keep on doing what I do.
And that's great, and it's so happy. You were obviously meant to meet him, but it's really hard sometimes to do that.
Yeah.
And people struggle. It was so nice that you met him.
I know, he just was such a sweet guy. But I just think that no matter what, it's just that taking the time to talk. And he said, it was so nice to meet you. I'm really thankful that we had some time to talk. Actually, my 1 hour walk turned into 2.5 hours. But look what it taught me. And that's my point.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
learn more.
You do. And with charity giving too, you're right, it's not just about money. Your time is
Exactly.
very valuable. And I think obviously the charities definitely love money.
Yes.
They want your money. They need it to help people.
Yeah.
But they're also grateful for time. But I think the biggest thing that you can do is think differently and act differently.
I agree.
Be the person who doesn't laugh at a racist or prejudiced or sexist joke.
Right.
If you hear someone talking about something socioeconomic about people who are less advantaged or something, or repeating these kind of stereotypes, don't agree. It's sometimes very hard
Yeah.
to stand up, especially if the person is your friend or even not your friend.
Or family.
Yeah.
There's family
But-
that...
Just be that person. I think the biggest thing we can do is social change.
Yeah, and I agree because I think of it as, well, both my children suffer with Tourette syndrome and OCD, and people as adults, they are adults now, and people still mock them. And I'm thinking, really? what if your child ended up with something like that?
Yeah.
You would want people to be the same for your child as we want them to be for ours.
And your children are lovely.
Aw, thanks. They are. I do love them very much.
I don't even know what to say to that, to adults doing that to them. But I think it's, somewhat of the society we live in right now, and I'm afraid things are getting worse. I'm hopeful they're getting better. But there are certain influences that are kind of normalizing meanness, pettiness, extreme materialism.
Yeah.
And it's hard to fight it, but anything you can do.
I find all the time I'll see a new show on TV and I'll think, really? How is that helping us get anywhere good?
Yeah.
But, we still have hope. I never give up. I got to keep that perky little spirit. But you also do volunteer work for seniors as well.
For Senior Wish, yeah, at Christmas time. I actually just started last October when the whole thing was gearing up for Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. You wouldn't believe how generous people are.
Yeah.
And, they give money, they give gifts. We had the Legion over on Cundles, and I don't know, that upper room? It was full of donations. And each senior who, I guess maybe I should explain, there are seniors who don't have family, or some of them do have family, but maybe don't see them.
Right.
They're not going to see anyone for Christmas, so they have something to open for Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing. Barb Richards was the one who started it. Her daughter Krista is involved, and there's so many amazing women. And I shouldn't say just women. I think there are a couple of men, but not mostly women, that run it, and they work really hard. They're actually doing another project that I'm not involved with right now, but they're doing a memories project.
Oh, I love that.
They're pairing up teenagers or youth.
I love that. Then we do have a connection when we talk about stuff like that.
With seniors, and the youth are helping the seniors get their stories down either in writing or on video.
Oh my gosh, you know what? I thought over and over again of doing that with my grandfather and my grandmother, and I kept putting it off, and then I lost them.
Yeah.
But I have recordings, little voice recordings, and I keep them all the time when I get really upset.
Yeah.
I listen to them, and then I remember because they were very positive people, and it just holds me and goes, okay, gotta make them proud, that kind of thing.
Well, it's never too early to do a legacy recording.
No.
We could do one right now. This could even be one.
See? Well, you and me always.
We're gonna live forever, but you never it's good. Legacy videos are amazing because then you leave something behind for future generations.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the seniors' homes don't actually get connected to Seniors Wish. And a friend of mine, Nevia de Silva, she started Sponsor a Senior for Christmas. So she gets those other ones, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
If we didn't get involved, if my husband and I didn't get involved, I don't know if we would have gotten through
I remember
everything.
all of your pictures actually because I was still on Facebook last Christmas, and I remember you were dressed up in little elf costumes and stuff.
Steve was Santa Claus.
And it was amazing. I remember I loved seeing those pictures, and with all the seniors and everything, it was really amazing.
And the nice thing is Nevia really did just start it just because her mom had a lot of people to visit her when she was dying, and broke her heart to see these other people who did it. So seriously, just out of the goodness of her heart, she just decided, I'm going to start getting donations and things, and she made over 300 gift baskets.
Wow.
With us, there was 4 of us.
Yeah.
And she did them herself, and then her husband, JC De Silva, he did the same. He and my husband went with us. He dressed as an elf. My husband dressed as Santa. I did Mrs. Claus.
And is that what you were?
Yeah.
Mrs. Claus? You weren't an elf.
Well, that's
okay.
That's what people kept saying was Mrs. Claus, because
Yeah.
of course Santa was my husband.
Well, if I remember correctly, you were a bit sexy as Mrs. Claus. I don't know. I don't know if Mrs. Claus is that sexy.
I think she's sexy. I think people just didn't want to know how sexy she really is.
Well, if she's kind, I guess she's sexy, right?
There you go. See?
Right? Yeah.
Kindness is sexy, and
Yeah.
so is Mrs. Claus.
Yeah. I really enjoyed seeing those pictures, though.
Oh, I'm glad. But that's the whole point. And I honestly believe if Steve didn't get involved in that, he wouldn't have made it through the stuff that happened to him at Christmas time. And it really was a blessing for all of us. And I think that's what we want people to know, is that when you're doing something, whether it's for seniors, youth, you're doing it for the disadvantaged, or people who have maybe conditions or something, no matter what you're doing it for someone else. And then all of a sudden the feeling that you
feel
get
good.
is incredible.
It's almost selfish sometimes, you feel like, you
That's
feel so
true.
good, you're like, my God, you know, this is I'm kind of doing it for them, but also for me.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Well,
I
and
think it's fine.
somebody said to me one day, they said almost that same thing. They said, you know, when I'm doing something, people come up and say, thank you so much for all you did. And I'm like, oh, no, you have no idea what you did for me.
Yeah.
And that's the point. And I've always loved your spirit about that.
And I think that, you know, talking to, like, I know, again, you love the youth stuff, and that's very important, and I'm gung-ho about it as well, but the people who are seniors, you know, they have so much knowledge. And,
Yes.
you know, they say if you don't learn your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah, yes, that's
And,
true.
you know, they have so much that they could tell us, you know, so much to give, and then they don't have anyone to tell their stories to, or we forget. So I think it's really important, you know, to visit them, and to, like, even if you don't have a grandparent or something, like, they're always looking for volunteers just to go and talk
That's
or
right.
something. Like, and not all of the seniors want that, but some of them definitely do.
Well, I will tell you, when we went through the seniors' homes with the gifts, you could see which ones came, they were just drawn to us.
Yeah.
And some of them, it's just, they just want to talk to anyone. It doesn't matter if it's somebody who, you know, has been a friend or whatever, they just want that connection.
You know, I think we're actually going to have to start changing the definition of senior, because,
Yes.
you know, you hear senior, and senior is supposed to be 65 and up, but have you met 65-year-olds lately?
I know.
Like, they're not like seniors. They're not like, you know, like your great-grandmother was when you were a kid. Like, it just...
Actually, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
had met mine,
Yeah.
my
like
grandparents,
that?
even in their 80s, were incredible.
Yeah.
They're just,
But
I don't know, I
seem
think
so much
age.
younger.
Yeah.
You know, and now, like, when I think of seniors, like, I literally think of people like 85, 90.
I agree
which,
with you.
you know, there's so many more people living to that age now.
And actually, one of the homes that we went into, there was a young man. There's no way the man was older than 35, if he was even that. And I'm not sure, it was an injury, of course, but he was in one of those homes, and it's called a seniors home. So it's funny how, you know, even though maybe someone has dementia at a young age, they end up in a seniors home, but you could be 55 years old. And my grandmother is, she's 98, and she's incredible. And she has all of her faculties. Her sister lived to be 105, lived on her own till she was 104.
Oh, wow.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
But they're fun.
Well,
you should just go just to feel the...
Well, you notice even if like super seniors, I should say, like, you know, are cranky, it's really like they can be mean to you, and it's still like you still love them.
Yes.
Something about getting to a certain age means that you can basically say whatever you want.
Yes.
And you still are cute.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happens. Like,
Isn't that the Betty White syndrome? Because
I love her.
me too.
I love that
and she's
woman.
always going. She'll say something and be ridiculous, and all of a sudden she'll go
She'll do that smile.
with her
Yeah.
dimples. I need dimples because I'm going to need those when I'm older.
Yeah.
I'm going to be one of those people.
Seriously, she's awesome, and she says like the funniest stuff. Like, I won't even say something. Like,
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, because we're always meeting people who do good things and finding people just, you know, out of the blue, and we talk about that a lot. Maybe there's a couple of situations with you that you remember that really stick with you, that are just kind situations.
well, I think what I remember most is my mother. You know, she from like whenever I can remember, she always volunteered.
Oh, that's where you get it from.
Yeah, for everything. You know, like she did so many different things. Like she would do all of the fundraisers and walks and everything. She would even volunteer at her work's Christmas party to dress up as a clown. And then she was part of Vickers, you know, the victims' assistants.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what that was.
Yeah, being exposed to that from a very young age, and my mother was always like, you know, encouraging me to do stuff like that. Like, I think she was a really great role model that way. So I think, you know, doing that and then taking your kids with you, because now there's even more of an incentive
Yes.
to do it, because they need those hours for high school graduation.
That's right.
So I think you learn it from a very young age, and it gets into you,
Yeah.
and that's the way, you know, it becomes a lifetime thing. Also, I think everyone should give blood. I know that was a bit off topic, but I just thought about it because I'm going to give blood next week. Recently, we had a family member who had, well, not recently, it was last summer, had an operation. He required quite a bit of blood.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, and I thought about it because I used to donate a long time ago, and then I stopped, and I don't know why. I thought, you know, if no one donated that, and like no one donated blood, then there would be no operation.
I agree. I haven't donated blood in a long time because of a condition that I have that they said that my blood won't be accepted. And it's, it had, because I have hypoglycemia.
Are you
So
sure
there's
it's not all the tattoos that you keep getting?
I have one tattoo.
I'm kidding. But now it's only 3 months after a tattoo. They changed it.
They actually won't let you if you have a tattoo?
After like 3 months after you get it,
I
because
didn't
there's
know that.
there's a possibility of
Contamination.
yeah.
Oh.
So they just have to make sure.
Well, I have hypoglycemia, and it had something to do with that they said they couldn't accept my blood. And maybe it's different now.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago that they told me that, so I just kept that in my head. I never changed my thought about it.
Should go get
It's time to look into
seriously.
it.
Yeah, they're always needing blood.
Yeah, and I do. I believe that because we have a lot of family who, even accident victims. I'm a motorcycle enthusiast, and we have a lot of friends who have been in an accident. Someone just comes across, doesn't see them. It's always a matter of, I didn't see them. And, you get into a serious enough accident of any kind, and you absolutely need help that way. So I am going to look into it. So another thing that I have to check out.
Yeah. They give you cookies. Yeah, well, they do. They give you cookies.
There you go.
and I think there might be chips now too. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly where juice.
Look at you. Like,
Right?
she's got her all under control. She knows why I want to go in there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I wanted to say thank you for coming over and talking to me because I think you're awesome.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, it's really great that you're doing this.
I have to keep going on things. I want people to really honestly start doing things just because they want to, just because they want to be nice to people, just because they want to see a smile on someone else's face. And if it takes this, then I'll just keep on doing whatever needs to be done.
It reminds me of Pay It Forward, because it's like change starts somewhere.
Yes.
And we be the change you want to see.
I
right?
absolutely say that all the time.
Yeah, and like what we were saying earlier about, it's us that makes up society.
Yep.
And we have to, change the way it is. We can't expect everyone else to do it. We can't sit on our butts and wait.
And that's the thing. Everybody always says, well, when I see people starting to be nicer, I'll do it. That's the problem. We need to do it. It's got to start somewhere. So as always, I just want to remind people that kindness is sexy. And honestly, Leeann truly is one of my sexiest friends.
Aw.
Inside and out.
Back at you.
You're so cute. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time because I invaded your house and your pets, and I appreciate you allowing me to do
The
that.
cats were very interested. It's
Yes,
too
they
bad.
were.
I don't know where they disappeared to, but they're very interested.
Especially the one who just
Yeah.
kept, I thought maybe we were going to have, what is it, a photo bomb?
Yeah. Yeah,
It would've been
seriously,
fun.
he was ready. I don't know where he had to go sleep though, because being a cat is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It is.
I'm sorry. Don't. Thanks again, Leeann, for letting me come into your house and play with your cats and mess up your things. And hopefully we can get through to people and get more people out there doing good things for other people just because kindness is sexy. Thanks, hon.
Oh, thank you.
Mwah.
Kindness is sexy.
Kindness is sexy.
Kiss. Kindness